such an asshole.
So this idea was not mine. It was a commenter. I want to congratulate the person who made the comment because it was very insightful. And I forgot what the video was about, but he said the stock market, particularly index funds, are going to be hammered by ESG and diversity and inclusion. I think maybe I was talking about Disney or something. Because all these corporations, this S&P that make up the S&P 500, are going woke because it's the newest, hippest, trendiest thing. And if you don't know anything about corporate management is not smart or intelligent or visionary. It's conformist and it's popularity. And I'm not even joking about that. I wish I was like 98% sincere. So I got to sitting there and thinking about, I'm like, yeah, he ain't wrong. And so let me explain this to you a little bit, because whether you're investing in the stock market or not, or whether you're setting up for retirement planning, or you are invested for retirement, like this isn't going to be any financial advice, but just an observation. But the S&P 500, also known as the index, the reason that is important or germane to investment planning and retirement planning is that, historically speaking, if you just invested in the S&P 500, the top 500 stocks in the United States, if you go back to, I think they're tracking it back all to 1871, you would have beaten out the vast majority of people who professionally manage money, like mutual fund managers or hedge fund managers and things like that. And it was a significant, like, it depends on what years you want to measure it, but it's something like 85, maybe even 90%. And so the whole idea of the index fund is that frankly, it undermines all the investment financial services industry. Why would I have a broker? Why would I pay a mutual fund manager and a mutual fund company and all their analysts and researchers to invest my money in stocks or investments they think are going to do the best, when I can go and buy an index fund? That's what they came up with. I can buy individual, how do I want to get too much into detailed investment lesson here, but you can buy into a mutual fund that follows the S&P 500 index. And so you common sir in the street, common man of the people, with absolutely not a day of education in finance or investing, you can beat out the majority of investment professionals, which is a damning statement as to the other futility and pointlessness and stupidity of management or financial management, people who try to beat the index and mutual funds and all that. And in all honesty, it's been so long. I was like, look, why do you even have mutual funds? why are you guys even trying anymore? Yeah, not to say there isn't a time or day that you might want to invest in something that isn't an index fund, but if you want a real simple way to do financial planning, and the biggest hurdle of financial planning is doing it, historically speaking, statistically speaking, one of the best and cheapest and easiest ways for you to save for retirement is just park your money in an index fund, and not just the S&P 500 index. Keep in mind, that's just for the stock market. There are bond indices, there are Asian stock market indices, global indices, and generally speaking, most of these indices beat whatever actively managed, professionally managed people try to eke out the majority of profit from that. And so this has kind of been a blessing, a big blessing for regular people who just want to invest conservative, not fancy. You don't want to shoot for the moon. Very simple way to invest. But then this guy pointed it out. He's like, yeah, but diversity and inclusion and ESG is going to ruin the S&P 500. I don't know if it's going to ruin it, but he's not wrong. Let's talk about how corporations are managed, which is the same way in how the S&P 500 manages to beat the majority of investment professionals. And the thing that they have in common, that is shared there, is that the S&P say, well, how they look back, they say, well, how did the S&P 500 keep beating everybody? Why does it do so well? And there are many reasons, but the main one is it's popular. if you're a company that is growing and your market cap, you get big enough that you are now considered part of the S&P 500, you are pushing out the ones that have been going into decline. You're an up and coming company. You're popular. You're capitalizing on a new industry, like, for example, the internet. And I guess if you go back to the 1980s, there was not a single, IT tech stock in there. Now I'm sure Google and Facebook and those are all part of the S&P 500. Well, they had to push out some kind of old fuddy-duddy corporation. I don't know if even General Motors is still part of the S&P 500. It probably is. But Kodak, that's gone. That was up there at one time. And so the idea is that the S&P 500 stays fresh. It stays new. It moves along with the changing economy. And even though it isn't, Apple in 1984 was not part of the S&P 500. It'd be boom. But if you get big enough and you're growing, you're going to probably have still some of that upward momentum. And so you're riding on popularity. And that's fine. And that's okay. And that's good. That's a trend we can all capitalize off of. But also, what is popular is management styles. Management styles are popular. They're not intelligent. They're not visionary. They're not true leadership. Especially at the larger corporations. The larger corporations are all about politics, all about games of Thrones. I'm not even talking malicious backstabbing. It's like, okay, everyone has to be calm. I got to run a large multi-billion-dollar corporation here. We have to be polite. We have to be civil. And so popularity, there's no studies that show this, but I got to imagine being popular, being liked, being political is probably the most single determining factor in people's success at large corporations, and ultimately how you get promoted. And then ultimately, as those people get promoted and become the culture of the company, they are the company, and the company is managed based on popularity. I would say it's efficiency, truth, profit maximization, but that's just me, a cold, calculated, evil economist. Popularity is still going to correlate with success because you want to be doing what is popular for your market, at least. However, being popular doesn't always work out. And sometimes being popular means you're being wrong, whatever trend is. For example, tramp stamps. Hi, who's from my ladies in my generation? How's that tramp stamp working for you? It's popular to go major in socialism. It's popular to major in the social sciences. Liberal. It's popular. I'm going to college. It's popular. So you can see where popular doesn't always translate into performance or success or even being right. Well, unfortunately now we have this thing with ESG, environmental social governance, and diversity and inclusion. And they're two heads of the same hydra. All it is woke Marxist socialist bullshit. That's all it is. And you would think maybe some more savvy business leaders with it. No, that's bullshit. We're hiring the best person. Get the fuck out of here. We ain't going to do that. You do not get to the head of corporations by being the smartest. You get ahead by being the most popular. It is conformance, not performance, especially at these large corporations. And you can see it like wildfire now. You could start it. Let me show you that this is not new. This isn't a thing. I don't know why I got schmutz on my glasses here. Before it was diversity and inclusion, in my day, it was the environmental carbon footprint. That's what it was. And it even started before that at large corporations, long before ExxonMobil had their environmental page. Look it up. It started at the coffee shops. That's where it started. We're doing organic and fair trade. That was it. We're doing organic and fair trade. And I wouldn't doubt it for a second that coffee stores, we're talking 30 years ago now, who kind of did this. Oh my goodness, look at us. We're so good. Oh my goodness. And the people who were going to the coffee stores 30 years ago are the people in charge of corporations now. They were going to college back then. College students go there. And they probably thought, ooh, it's good. I'm helping people. And Target was up. Now I will give Target props on this. For the longest time, well before it was popular, Target always donated 5% of its pre-tax profits to nonprofits, to no avail. They haven't solved the damn problem yet, but they pissed away literally billions of shareholder money on that. That's fine. You go ahead, donate the money. See, it did. Oh, it still didn't work. But then it started. People started realizing like this is a way to market. Right? It's a way to differentiate. With not necessarily anything wrong with that. It's when it became a goddamn cult, and the only point, purpose, and value you have in reason in living is your politics, that it started to migrate from coffee, which started getting sanctimonious by the mid to late 90s. Then it became the environment. What's your carbon footprint? They still do that. And that's why the E comes in environmental social. And then the social stuff came later, where we decided like, hey, F the content of our character. It's only our color of skin and our plumbing that matters. And I've talked about this before because I was there. I was in the business schools. I was getting my degree in finance like an idiot. And I watched him forcing this diversity. I'm like, oh, diversity is so important. Like, why? Why? No, it's not. It isn't. It's not actually a monolithic culture, but you should be hiring the best people and have the best products and the best prices for everyone. It's just so childish. No one really, I guess, took it seriously. But I guess I was wrong, because now my generation, people in the late 40s, early 50s, we're the leaders. And these people who, I hate to say the word indoctrinate, I don't know what else to call it, but have been infected with this. Well, you just can't be a marketing major. You can't just be a good accountant. You can't just be a good CEO. You got to have politics and everything. That harkened back in the 80s with the organic coffee, Target with the nonprofit, and especially the business schools, where we really started putting the diversity and all that other stuff in there. I guess the most recent evolution is now we're all stakeholders. No, there's shareholders and there's employees and there's customers and clients. And shut the fuck up. We're all stakeholders. Like, no. The capital markets are drive. So the money for investments are like, so we're all stakeholders. We're gonna have a meeting now. I don't think I'm gonna invest in this company. I don't think I'm gonna invest in this town. Anyway, so now it's entrenched. It's part of people's strategic business managing mindset, part of the business or the managerial class, however you want to call it. And not only that, I keep telling you, business people aren't smart. The leaders of corporations aren't smart. They are popular. And when you take not being smart, which means you can't be creative or innovative, you can't be a leader, and you can't come up with new and revolutionary ways of thinking to improve your pride. I mean, look at Disney. It's just rehash. Well, that's all of Hollywood. Any new shiny bauble, any new shiny, cool, hip thing that comes along, ooh, shiny trinket, they'll make it a managerial thing. Like long time ago, although this had some merit to it, was called just-in-time inventory. That actually had some merit to it. But how many books were written about that in the 80s? Oh my God. I forget what the 90s, maybe the 90s was more like come down and work with the people type of the caring boss bullshittery. I don't know. Go back and look at the best-selling business. You'll see them. You'll see the bullshit trends. And then meanwhile, anyone with common sense is like, how about we all shut the fuck up, work harder and work smarter and make more money? How's that? How's that for a business strategy? And do it or I fire you. How's that sound? How about we knock it off with the college bullshit and we just hire the best people and we train them so they don't have to piss away 4 years of their life? How about that? Would that lower costs and make things better? Well, let's bring in this a batch of bitches with their diversity inclusion degree to tell all the men how they're sexist and all the white people how they're racist. Yeah, that's a brilliant corporate strategy. That's going to boost employee morale. Batch of bitches consulting. I think so. One of you girls can run with that. Call it that. And so they glom onto it. And now it's rife. Now you can't go to a large corporate. I guarantee you that if you were to go to of all 500 companies that make up the S&P 500, all the largest 500, I guarantee you all of them have some kind of diversity and inclusion or environmental page on their website. Maybe it's consolidated, maybe it's whatever, but they have that ESG, DEI, or what would largely fall under the banner of wokeness, a woke marketing strategy. Let's be very clear, that's what it is. It's not because you care about women or minorities. It's not because you care about past injustices. It's not because you care about the environment. It's because, I've said this before, the government and the public schools have spent the past 3 generations educating and brainwashing young kids today, who are now adults, I guess now, into thinking that their politics was the most important thing about them, whichever variety that might be: environmentalism, feminism, race, whatever, gender, obviously, sexual preference, now more modernly mental, whatever. A ton of psychological infrastructure was laid down by the public schools to make everybody think that it's not how hard you work or the quality of work you do, it's your politics or the traits you were born with or the traits you claim to have. Corporations are now capitalizing off of that value structure and value system. You're a girl. You're not an independent-minded person. You're not a human being. You're just a dumb set of tits to these corporations. And we're going to put the feminist sign on it. Look out, you go, girl boss. I mean, what was with Marvels? Rey from Star Wars, the most uninspiring, boring as a blank sheet of paper person in all of cinematic history. You should like her because she's got tits. You're a girl, right? You like girls. Which, if you think about it, is highly insulting because it's a shit product. And I'm okay, like, if you target different groups of people. Obviously, they have different demands and needs, different culture. That's fine. But when the product is shit, in other words, it's gone so far. Not only is it a marketing horrible strategy, by the way, that's the product now. How many of you guys would like to, I don't know if you're as old as me, you remember as a kid you couldn't finish a Big Mac. And it wasn't because you were kids, because Big Macs were way bigger. And they've just cut all the material and the food out of a Big Mac. And now you can eat 2 of them as a full-grown adult. So the product has gone down, I guess not in quality, but certainly quantity, which is a quality unto itself. But man, they really target minorities, especially the Black community, probably because fast food's cheaper and all that others, I'm sure, a strategic reason for it. But it's like for an inferior product. Hey, here's McDonald's advertisements. Hey, are you Black? Come buy our crappy food. Because we got a bunch of Black people in the advertising. It's like, okay, that would be fine if you didn't shirk on the food and make your product shittier. That is the product. The product is wokeness. The product is, hey, we're down with your flag. You got that flag you carry, the gay flag, whatever flag. I mean, banner, tribe. You see it really in Gay Pride Month. All the corporations come out. Hey, our product is shit, but look, we put a woke flag on it. Come buy our crap. And these people are not your friends. Don't get me started about the quality and caliber of machine parts and tools I need that have all gone to pot as well. Anyway, so the point that the guy had in the comments section is, I think it probably was in relation to Disney, where it's like, they have gone so far with this woke shit that it is now undermining and go woke, go broke is now becoming a real thing. And you cannot go broke and have your stock price go up, as evidenced by Disney, or I'm sure there's other companies that have gone woke and publicly traded and all that. But when all the companies in the S&P 500 are to one degree or another going woke, and diversity and inclusion and woke politics and all that other stuff is infecting their corporate management, their corporate strategy, their corporate culture. If you're not making a profit, a good profit, that ultimately is going to be determining your long-term profits. And if all you're selling is, we're with this political team, we're with this group of people this week, and not a good product, their profits are going to go down, and inevitably their stock price is going to follow. And That would be fine if it was one or two companies, but it's guarantee you it's every single S&P 500 company out there that has this. And that is going to undermine the stock market long-term stock market performance of what is hands down the best common man's investment. Not even common man, actively managed man. It's one of the best. I can't say it's one of the best investments because it always go down, but it has historically proven to be one of the best performing investments in U.S. history, if not the best and most consistent. I'll put it that way. Anything can happen tomorrow. And there's a lot of investors, a lot of retirement plans, pension funds, a lot of regular people that are in the S&P, that are in index investing. And if you get into the S&P 500 index by being popular, and to be popular in your corporate management strategy is you must accept woke politics and put it before profits, as Disney painfully and obviously has among other companies, your price will go down. And now the S&P 500 is no longer, it ruins index investing and eliminates. You used to be able to invest in the S&P 500 before it went woke. And now that instead of profits and sales and popularity, with all of its drawbacks included, no longer determines the stock market performance and all that. Now it's politics. Now it's woke bullshit. In theory, it's kind of already had. S&P 500 is going to start to decay in performance. Now, I did start to look up some data here. And yes, the S&P 500 companies, all 500 of them, guarantee you they have a diversity and inclusion, ESG, environmental website impact bullshit page. But I did also, when I was searching S&P 500 ESG, because I wanted to see how many are adopting. ESG is the formal adoption of those principles in order to get funding and financing from different firms and banks and all that other stuff. That's the formalized policy. Diversity and inclusion is just fuck you. That's what it is. So it's omnipresent. It's all over. But when in searching for it, I found out there's actually a sub-index, which is common. There, by the way, if you want to look up index investing, there are hundreds of indexes or indices you can invest in globally. All right, so it's the S&P, which is Standards & Poor's. It's a company that puts together the index among other indices. It's a research management firm. There are many indices, and they created the Standards & Poor company. One of the many indices it created was a sub-indice of the S&P 500 called the S&P ESG. I don't know if it's the top 100, top 500. I don't know. It's the top ESG companies in the United States. And what this allows us to do, at least in the here and now, is compare what this index has over 5 years of performance. So I was like, okay, how has that index performed? The ESG index, how has it performed against the regular S&P 500 index? Knowing full well that every S&P 500 company has some element of woke infestation in it. But the ones that are like true believers that would then belong to an ESG index, how do the two perform? Because I'll be perfectly honest, give it 20 years time, all the S&P 500 companies are going to also be part of the ESG because they're just going to do it because it's popular. Yes, BlackRock, yes, they might yes, there might be pressure. They won't need pressure. They're going to do it because it's popular. That's where they're going to willingly do it. They're willingly going to institute the policy of ESG. But we're in this time frame, this window. It's short in the grand scheme of financial analysis, but 5 years where we've had an ESG index and a not so woke, not so ESG regular S&P 500 index. And when you look at it, in the past 5 years, the ESG index has gone up by 40%, like inflation. So practically zero real gain. I think I'd have to look up the CPI. I'm kind of joking, but I don't know, past 5 years, it damn well might be 40% inflation. I don't know. It certainly is not a 40% real gain. We know that. We're probably talking 10%. Somebody, not me, look up the data. All I'm saying, though, the nominal gain in the ESG index has been 40% in 5 years, which is it's like 8%, okay, per year. Yeah, that is an inflation. Yeah, that's almost a 0% gain now that I think about it. The S&P 500, the regular traditional index, 65%. 25% more in the past 5 years. Now, admittedly, I just clicked on the 5 years just to see overall, over time, how's the performance perform. If we moved it along, would it be only a 15% premium? All I'm pointing out is that the non-woke, relatively yet to become completely woke ESG dick-sucking S&P 500 index that is not totally woke trounced 25% in a 5 year, like that kind of a level of a performance where it's 40% versus 65%. That's like a 60% premium over, 65 divided by 40, roughly it performs 60% better, or a 25% full more rates of return compared to a 40% rate of return. That's significant. That's very significant. And honest to God, I know S&P, the company, you're probably filled with woke people and the rest of the country. Oh my God, we can't have that. I love it when reality just proves all you leftists wrong. I love it. And then you got to run around and got to hide it. Although I don't know, they probably want to keep the ESG index because it's popular. But right now we have pretty damning evidence that diversity and inclusion, ESG, not meritocracy, not efficiency, not hiring the best person, and not on top of that, making a marketing strategy, putting the marketing strategy ahead of profits and making the product the marketing instead of a good product at a good price. Oh, it's a disaster. Now, us who live in the real world and are sick and tired of actual racism, sexism, and general bigotry, right? Being forced, like it's popular because it's a diverse group. See, it's okay. It's like, can you please make the Big Mac big again, and please make movies that don't suck again? Where was I going with this? We have conclusive proof the ESG is bad for profits. It's bad for stock prices. And there's more than a bit of reason or evidence and veracity to the theory that woke politics, whether it's its manifested form in ESG policy or just diversity and inclusion, is going to at least undermine the S&P 500 index investing. Now, the index will always be the index. So here's kind of where it's a philosophical point to make. The S&P 500 will always be the index. We won't know, like, what would have the S&P 500 done going into the future if it didn't go woke? What would that look like? We won't know what it looks like because it is going to go woke. And what I think we're going to have to do is take a look, historically speaking, a geometric average of 12.8%, I believe, has been the S&P 500's annual return going back to 1871. Like, you expect a compound rate of return of 12.8%. I'm wondering if going forward, where you have more and more woke politics, if the real rate, we have to back out, we got to count inflation here too. That's another thing we really have to back out, because that is a nominal number, 12.8%. What would the real rate of return of the S&P 500 look like from 1871 to, let's just say, 2025? And then we say, okay, 2026 and on, the S&P 500 is going to be woke as the politics go, as it trends. I'd love to see the next 20 years of performance of the S&P 500, the woke S&P 500 versus the historical S&P 500. And I almost guarantee you it's going to be less, which then brings about a problem for everyone who's using the index as part of their retirement planning. Where do you go? And it may be that you got to go with a non-woke index, or we might have to revisit going and having actual financial management team, or investing in actively managed mutual funds, meaning they create mutual funds that are designed to beat the S&P 500. Maybe investment professionals might beat the S&P 500 going forward. Maybe there's different asset classes you have to invest in, like real estate or real estate investment trusts, or I don't know what all the different assets. Maybe you invest overseas. That might be an idea. You go to like some kind of country where it ain't woke. See if they're doing any better. But yeah, I'm not calling the end of the S&P 500 trouncing the financial management professionals, because financial management professionals are fucking idiots. They're dumb, and most of them are. They have no scruples. Whatever, I gotta make my money, bro. But it'd be interesting for you finance geeks out there to kind of pay attention to this and look at it. I think for your average everyday retirement planning investor, like, oh, why I was investing in the index? It's like, well, even all your investments in the index beforehand, I mean, they're going to, because you don't sell out it, it's going to change. I'm curious how everyone's index investments are going to go. US based indexes or indices. I'm very curious how it's going to go. So that's why this insanely intelligent observation made by not me, a commenter, is sponsored by Bachelor Pad Economics, the financial advice Bible for men and women who are brave enough to read it. And then also my course, Achieving Financial Excellence, which is offered through Teachable. That is linked below. Boy, that one right there, the importance of not needing so much money. I have, oh, by the way, the minimalism course is also, but Achieving Financial Excellence talks about the purpose and role of money. And obviously, yes, we do talk about minimalism in that, but the whole idea of needing less money, I think that's going to be the future of retirement planning, because you political fuckwits and you incompetent assholes in corporate management who are just like, instead of doing your fucking job and making a good product at a good price to maximize profits, you're like, oh my God, is that vagina black? We're such good business managers. What do you mean another box office flop? Oh, so link below, Bachelor Pad Economics, and then what's it called? Achieving Financial Excellence. You can find that on Teachable. I think it's linked below. I got 3 courses through Teachable. You might find them interesting. All right, let's go to the super chats. Let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Nonstop Dre, the man who never sleeps, $5. Operation Evil Idea, imprint subscription that allows blind and deaf people to regain their sight and hearing, but if payment is, you lose it again. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, if we could cure blindness and deafness, that'd be great. It would be awesome. I couldn't be that evil. Look, here's how Operation Evil works. Operation Evil works on people who are evil themselves or lazy. I consider laziness a sin. And if people want to believe the lie, like get rich quick schemes or some kind of bullshit like that, or that we should tax other people and take their money to help out the poor, to help me out because I majored in journalism, I'm all for becoming like Oprah, the Democrat Party, and getting rich off of the stupid people. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm almost envious of the Democrat Party sometimes. Like, wow, you got half the population just letting you rake in the dough, huh, man? It's impressive. It's very impressive. I could not do that to blind or deaf people or people with an actual impairment. Like, oh yeah, you want to see again? Well, you're gonna have to pay us. Like, oh my God, could we actually just be charitable in this one time? Like, no strings attached? That'd be horrible. Thomas Rao, $10. I agree with everything you say about the S&P 500. Just worried the Bretton Woods system will eventually end. The original meeting minutes, even they admit that it was only supposed to last for 100 years. It's out of my control, man. A diversified investment. Do you have precious metals? Do you have good skills? Do you have good credentials? Because if you're a CP, you know who don't worry about inflation? CPAs and dentists. They just increase their prices. What was inflation? Okay, everyone's going to need dental work. I guess we are increasing our prices by 20%. Crypto and precious metals. There you go. And actually, the S&P 500 historically was a very good hedge against inflation. I think it was a 0.9 correlation coefficient that it would cover the increase of inflation and then some. It tracked inflation and stayed ahead of it very well. but maybe not anymore. I mean, what's your PE ratio is going to be in the future with all the money flooding into the market to buy dwindling profits of companies because they just pissed off every person possible. Willie Mendoza, $2. Gym to get to girls. Good for you, Willie. You go to the gym for yourself, and then maybe also you get the girls. I was at the gym today. It was running day, but I did do some bench pressing because I want to keep the girls. And then if my current girls gets the lips, I can go ahead and put her on probation and get a new girls, a replacement girls. But you need to go to the gym. Alex Patino, our never sleeping truck driving Latino agent in the field for $5. I clicked on your video and it shows 0 likes. That happens. There's some glitch there's a glitch every once in a while. Don't worry about it. Desea Bronx. It's kind of a cool name. $5. Hold up now, Cappy. Ray didn't have tits. That was part of no. Ray, classic Mary Sue, she was boring. She didn't do anything. She said, I got the power. That might work in a Saturday morning cartoon for 7-year-old kids in 1983, but it ain't going to work for adults or kids who want something a little, someone with a slight bit of maturity or intelligence. I didn't want to see it. I just looked at her. No. And my spidey senses were right. No, I don't want to watch this. I really don't want to watch this. Yeah, okay, she didn't. They don't all have to be gorgeous, hot chop. They don't. They really don't. And come on, would you really think about this? Would you really want all the girls like Selma Hayek starring and everything? And you say, yeah, actually, I would like that. Yeah, I would like that. Yeah, but no, you don't need them all being drop dead gorgeous models. Naftuja, $5. Government intervention has ruined the economy and allowed for the wokeism to exist and be pushed down our throats. Consumers need to vote with their money. Here, Naft, I'm just going to call you Naft. That would make sense in saner times. However, revisit the point. I'm 100% serious about it. For 3 generations, public schools and colleges have been brainwashing people to think that their skin color and their gender and whose genitalia they like to lick and what tribe or what does mental disorder they fake having, or even what not only did the genitalia people genuinely like to lick. I'm talking the genuinely not straight people, all the varieties and colors. They are there. I'm talking the straight motherfuckers who fake it, like all the people who fake having a mental illness. Those fuckers is what I'm talking about. Because all they said, wait, so instead of majoring in engineering or accounting and working hard and getting good grades, I can just be the zany kid. I can be the zany guy who paints his nails black and dye my hair purple and claim to be queer or gay or whatever. And then I'll get attention. Okay, I'll do it. It's like, yeah, but you ain't gay. How dare you? And there's her whole identity. I got to imagine for those of you within the gay community or simply the not straight, you have got to be so pissed with all the posers. That is so, it's like the Rachel Dolezal, but for the gay community. Oh, that's got to be maddening. There's regular old Joe, except he happens to be gay. And here's this purple-haired straight freak from the suburbs whose mom and dad pampered his little ass. Like, hey, everybody, what the fuck are you? I'm totes McGay. No, you ain't. How dare you? But getting back to it, this is what the consumers want. Now, I think they went overkill with the girl boss movie hero genre. Barbie still did pretty well. And that wasn't exactly like a patriarchal movie, but it was a feminine movie. People, this is their only value. And also, what does the average American have in their life now? I don't mean like house or anything. What do they got value-wise? What do they got? What do they do? They just consume and they watch media. They're not interesting people and they're not hardworking people. So it's like, well, what do you value? I'm a born again Christian. I'm like, so about Jesus? And I feel bad for. I honestly do. There's a guy. Someone tagged me in it on Twitter. Young black guy, and he came out with a comic, indie public. Fine, good, go for it. But it was about, God, what the hell was the name of it? It was about dealing with mental illness as a Zoomer. It's like, dude, nobody cares. No one fucking cares. Your fucking mental illness is your identity, huh? Oh my God. But yeah, that's what they're marketing to. So they're not going to, some will vote with, I mean, white men maybe are starting to get a little ball sack. I think all men, regardless of race, they're all starting to get their balls back. Like, yeah, we're not going to, we're drawing a line there, Gillette. We're not going to Target anymore. Hell, you started to see that where Target, they had like a tuck bikini for kids or something like that. And you saw Muslims and Christians and Jews, and they all had one thing in common. They had kids. They say, fuck you. Oh, no, it was a public school that was going to teach that. In the maybe. Brando Jacko, $2. Will banning ESG DEI be the best way to fix this? Well, now you get into the tyrant's paradox. Do you want to ban corporations from doing this? I don't care how. Look, if they want to go like, oh my God, we're so diverse. We just love the minority vaginas. Oh my goodness, licky, 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 licky. I mean, it's your money. You advertise it however you want. I don't think we should it's the same kind of tyranny. It's like, nor should we say you have to meet these environmental, social, and government goals. That being said, because if you leave corporations alone to do what they want, they will fuck shit up. And they will dump toxic shit in the environment. So you need some kind of government regulation. But this culture, going like, okay, what are you doing beyond, as long as you ain't hurting anybody, you're following the rules and the laws. I don't care how you market. Oh, how many Hispanic females that were gay did you hire last week? Fuck off. Fuck right off. If they want to do it it's their company. They can do it however they want. But to fix this, NAFTA is right. The public is going to have to stop buying woke, diverse, DEI, ESG, Marxist, feminist shit. You just gotta say, what really we should all be pissed off about. I know everyone sees the Marxist leftist politics and you get pissed off at that. I understand that. You all should be pissed off at the shit quality service. You should be sick and tired that, God almighty, I don't want to go to the movies anymore. You should be pissed off at, this has nothing to do with politics, but that mechanics can't fix your cars anymore because they're a bunch of lazy, ill-trained pieces of shit. You should be pissed off at the Chinese for flooding us with a bunch of products and equipment that breaks down all that. That's what you should be pissed off at McDonald's for making the Big Mac go from a Big Mac to this little thing that you can fit in 3 fingers. There's where you should be pissed off. But that, that doesn't make the headline news. Nonstop Dre, $5. Operation Evil, idea number 2, a pill that stops aging, but the side effect is you stop taking it, your body will rapidly age. Guaranteed customer for life. Well, I think most people would take you up on that offer. All I got to do is reliably take. I have people with not penicillin. What are diabetics? What do you guys take? Not penicillin, insulin. You guys can do that. I think we would a pill you take once a day and so yeah, sign me up. Runner, $5. Here is for the bot spam. You must be hitting a nerve. F the finger pain. What is this? Like someone in the spam? We getting spam out here? Flat Earth movement. All right. Well, there we go. Why was it like a spam bot trying to sell something? Don't worry about it. You can't, unless it's like, and now it ain't showing up. Now nothing's showing up. All right, we'll go to that. F the finger painting majors. They push their politics and the productive people quit. Yeah. By the way, all you liberal arts majors and social science majors, just fuck right off with your shit. Don't fucking lie to me and everybody else about how you're doing anything valuable for society. that you, like I said before, a couple of videos ago, just as a couple make their vows in the presence of God and the church and the community and family and all that, you declare whether you're going to be a producer or a parasite. Everyone declares whether they're going to be a producer or a parasite when they declare their college major or their educational aspirations after college. And if you're going to major in the liberal arts or the social sciences, you are declaring you're going to be a parasite. You're a lazy sack of shit and you don't want to work. You're going to be a drag on the rest of society. If you declare otherwise, then it's like, okay, you're working. Oh, and let's throw business majors in there too. You're a lazy sack of shit. Go fuck yourself. The business majors might even become criminal at some point in time. Where did I scroll? Oh, I had a reset. Here we go. Give me a second. I'm scrolling. Nonstop trade $2. Charitable to society. Great one is right. You two knife. No. The St. Jude's Children's Cancer. Okay, that's one charity I'll donate to, and I haven't. By the way, I haven't. And then the Innocence Project, getting innocent people who are wrongly accused out of prison. That's another one I'll donate to, but I haven't yet. I haven't. I'm just saying those are two that I would. To say a Bronx, $2. With writing that bad, you need a hot lead. Huh? Writing what? How bad? What, my book? With writing that bad, you need a hot lead. Okay. Naughty DJ Aftershock, $5. Dude, bro, you're just jealous you couldn't dream of making managing director at BlackRock and Vanguard, bro. We headed out for sushi in the Upper West Side, bro. Have you, DJ, are you familiar with New York? I only had 2 interviews in New York City, and I never knew Upper Side, Manhattan, East Side, Harlem, Bronx. All I know is Bronx is towards the Atlantic. It's east. That's all I know. But I don't know. I know Manhattan's Battery Park's the south end. Staten Island is an island, but it's not the island that the Statue of Liberty is on. But if you said where is Harlem or Queens, I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't. Nonstop trade, $2. What if government forces people to buy those funds? I think that's when the guns come out. I think that no, I'm not. It's not happening. You can't. There'd be a lawsuit. Like it would violate the Constitution in one way or another. I don't think that would stick, but that's where the guns come out, or you leave. Where it's like, no, I'm not. I'm done with this. I'm just done with this shit. It's what's the difference between that and forcing people to buy the product? Like, oh, you gotta go to Disney. You gotta watch Captain Vag Spam and her hatred of the patriarchy. I don't know, whatever they got. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it won't be that because that indicates a whole new character and creativity and originality. It won't be that. Indiana Jones 5. Jesus fucking Christ. Honest to God. How fucking lazy are you asswipes at Disney? Indiana Jones 5. You can't come up with something new. Thomas Rao, $2. Wish I had that advice in my 20s. Too old for dental school. Yeah, dental school is good. Dentists and girls can do it too. I know a couple female dentists. They make better money than I do. I understand women are smaller, weaker, not as durable. Shh, girls, go, shh, it's true. But that doesn't mean you can't be doing some really vital, important, high-paid shit. Dentist being one of them. All right, there you guys go. I think I'm going to play some Ghost of Tsushima. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.